All right, I'm Lance with Ultimate Canine. Today we're going to talk about markers. There's a million different ways to mark with your dog. So if that treat and train beeps, that's a marker. It could be a marker that you're finished, you can go eat. This clicker can be a marker. There's a million ways to mark a behavior. You can mark that the dog's good, you can mark that the dog's bad, you can mark anything you want. The most important thing about a marker is it has to be clear to the dog. Has to be clear that this is correct. So for instance, when he's heeling and he's correct, I'm going to click the clicker and the ball is going to come to him. That means you're done with work and you can interact with your ball. He clearly knows that. So like so. Kilo. Foos. Foos. Good boy. Boy. Good. And now the treat and train sound teaches him food is coming at that exact same time. So I'm just going to let him eat while I talk. There's a whole bunch of different markers, like the clicker can mean a whole bunch of different things. It's just the dog needs to understand what they mean at that time. So if I use a marker for 1,000 different things, it's going to take power away from that marker because it is less clear to the dog. So that being said here, let's say that I want to use a different marker because I want the dog to understand he's correct, but it leads to a different reward source. So the clicker leads to reward from me. The treat and train beep means the reward's coming away from me. So you see this can get very complicated and complicated to the dog. So I have my treat and train, I have my clicker. Larry, Foos. Okay, so we're gonna heel here. Foos. Good. Okay, and that means to come around me. Good boy. So when I tell him okay, it means for him to come behind me and get the reward in my right hand. So this is where things become complicated. And they become even more complicated when you're talking the whole time you're doing your obedience, good boy, blah, 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 blah. And then you maybe say okay in conversation, the dog self-rewards or attempts to self-reward. So this can all go down a huge rabbit hole with a ton of different variations, with a ton of different feedback from a ton of different people. This is the way that I do it, and it gets complex. The further you go and the more stuff you teach your dog. So it has to be super clear to the dog. When I told him okay, he did not hesitate. He came around, I made him miss the toy because I'm trying to build drive, and I played with him, so it's more fun than him just taking it from me. What I want Larry to learn is the ball leads to food, which then leads to physical praise while he's eating out of the treat and train. Obviously, I'm not petting him right now, but to me, I'm layering rewards there, and that's a whole different ball of wax and why I'm doing that and what the goal is for all of that. But I want him to understand all good things come from doing the thing, or this good thing comes from doing the thing, and that's what all these different cues mean. Some people will say, well, why use a clicker instead of your voice? Because this clicking sound, it is the cleanest communication tool I believe you can ever use with a dog. It is so sharp, no other sound sounds like it. It doesn't sound like anything else on this planet. So when you use that, it's super clear to the dog that it means the thing. Because our voice changes, our inflection changes, everything about saying yes or good or okay, that all can change depending on your mood, where your head is pointing in relation to the dog, all of the things. But nothing can change this sound besides distance. Can make it louder or quieter. So, a lot of questions can arise from this, and you can make it very simple. So here, and the nice thing about the way that I train is Larry's offering these behaviors from me, you know, hoping for an indirect reward over there. I do have a ball in my pocket, and he's doing well. So my clicker right here can just say, hey, this eye contact is really good. Good boy. And the ball then leads to food. Good boy. Who's a good boy? Aye. I want that tail wagging. I want that going. Now let's say you're using a crop or you're using your hand. You're still cueing the dog. The sense of touch is a very powerful cue. So there's a lot to unpack in this, and it can sound complicated, but it's only as complicated as you make it. If you want one marker to mean one thing the whole time, that's okay. It may limit you a little bit in certain areas, but if you're just starting out, that's a good way to start. You're trying to teach your dog one thing really, really, really well, and then move on to something else and teach that really, really, really well, and then try to chain the two things together. It's going to fall apart a little bit. It always does. And that's just going to take a little bit more time and practice with clear markers, clear signals, clear communication. And that's all a good marker is super clear communication. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next one.